So I think I've mentioned this a little bit in the Fremantle context. Carmel, did you want to mention some of the opportunities on the Sydney side?
Yeah, sure. So the Rural and Indigenous immersion trip to Lithgow is run in Year 1. The entire Year 1 cohort they just went a week or so ago with an overnight stay in local accommodation, and then various activities run from the Lithgow Clinical School. And they also do a walk on country through the Blue Mountains with a local Indigenous guide and various different activities and exposure to rural life in particular, but also Indigenous culture. The Aboriginal Immersion Day is a fabulous day where, again, the whole cohort in Year 1 goes to the local Australian Museum, and the Indigenous staff there organise a day of activities and talks. Fabulous day. We walk down there, it's very close. The Rural Trauma Week in Lithgow is a run in second year, and that is again based at the Lithgow Clinical School. We've been COVID impacted the way we've run it, but hopefully we return to pre-COVID times, and basically there are 2 nights spent in Lithgow in local accommodation and local experts, and then also some of the trauma specialists from St Vincent's Hospital go up and do a lot of hands-on clinical skills training. Fabulous, very well received. Thank you.
And this is seen as a real strength of our programs. I might just skip over that because we talked about it, but Carmel, do you want to talk a little bit about our different clinical schools and maybe give them a sense of where these different places are and what's on offer there?
Sure. So that top picture is actually the Lithgow Clinical School, purpose-built. Lithgow is a small town in the Blue Mountains, just west of the Blue Mountains, and an area fairly low socioeconomic background. It has a small hospital there, and we have 6 students there for the full year in Year 4, and then various students get the chance to rotate. So each 4-week block there will be 2 to 3 students sent there as well, with all accommodation provided. So that's a fabulous experience. Similar for Wagga Wagga, they take 8 students in Year 3, and usually the same 8 move into Year 4 at Wagga. Ballarat takes 14 students. So the clinical school selection is done in around the middle of Year 1. Presentations to students from all the different schools, interaction with the current students located in those clinical schools. And then there's a preference system whereby we try and allocate students their first or second choice of clinical school, so Year 1 and 2, for Year 3 and 4, but we can't always do that. Prior to that sort of allocation is the rural school allocation, which is done on it's quite a competitive allocation. It's done by application and interview through the head of rural clinical schools, Prof. Bryden. So they're allocated first, and then the preference system is put in place. I think that covers everything. Yes.
And I just put in there, I think both the Fremantle and Sydney programs have opportunity for elective blocks. So students, if they wanted to go back to Canada for those electives, now there were everything was shut down for a little bit with COVID for international electives, but I think we're fully back now. So there would be that opportunity for both programs.